Walter White is a liar, a murderer, a drug lord. He destroyed families, poisoned a child, and ruined countless lives. So here's the real question. Why do we love him? Why do millions of people still root for Walter White even after everything he's done? The answer is uncomfortable, because it doesn't say much about him. It says everything about us. Breaking Bad doesn't introduce Walter White as a villain. It introduces him as a failure. A brilliant chemist trapped in a life that never rewarded him, teaching high school students who don't respect him, working a second job washing cars, watching his former partners build an empire that could have been his. Walter isn't powerful, he isn't admired, he isn't even noticed. He's invisible, and the show forces us to sit in that humiliation with him. Then comes the diagnosis: cancer, a death sentence. Suddenly, Walter's life has an expiration date, and that's when our sympathy locks in. A man who failed at life is now racing against death, a man with nothing left to lose. And when someone has nothing to lose, we forgive things we never should. The story reframes crime as sacrifice and desperation as responsibility. At least, that's what we tell ourselves. Walter doesn't begin as a monster. He begins as a man trying to regain control. And control feels reasonable. It feels human. It feels justified. Every step he takes into the criminal world is carefully designed to feel necessary. He doesn't want to cook meth. He's pushed into it. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. Circumstances force his hand. Each decision feels like the last option left. And because we see the world through Walter's eyes, we experience those choices exactly the way he does. One compromise at a time, one excuse at a time. Slowly, something changes. Not in Walter, in us. Our moral standards begin to shift. Lines that once felt solid start to blur. Violence becomes strategy. Manipulation becomes intelligence. Murder becomes survival. The show never asks if Walter White is right. Instead, it asks a far more dangerous question. What would you do in his place? And the moment we imagine ourselves as Walter White, judgment disappears. We stop observing the story. We start participating in it. But sympathy alone doesn't explain why we love Walter White, because there are many tragic characters we pity but never admire. Walter is different, because beneath the sympathy lies something far more uncomfortable: a power fantasy. Walter White is the transformation people secretly crave. A man who is ignored becomes feared. A man who is weak becomes dominant. A man who followed the rules and got nothing in return decides to rewrite them. Walter doesn't just gain money, he gains control. He commands rooms, he dictates outcomes. He becomes someone people listen to, someone people fear, someone who finally matters. And deep down, many people want that feeling. Not the drugs, not the violence, but the respect, the authority, the sense of finally being undeniable. The show lets us feel that power with him. Every victory feels earned. Every win feels personal. As Walter rises, we rise with him. Even when the cost becomes impossible to ignore. Even when the people around him begin to suffer. Even when the excuses start to sound hollow. And eventually, the mask slips. Walter stops reacting and starts choosing. He's no longer surviving, he's dominating. The family justification begins to crack, and then comes the moment that reframes the entire story. Not a murder, not a betrayal, but a confession. I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. In one sentence, the illusion collapses. The cancer wasn't the cause. The family wasn't the reason. They were the permission. Walter White didn't break bad because he had to. He broke bad because he wanted to feel alive. And that's when the audience is exposed. Because if his journey was never about necessity, then our support was never about morality. We didn't misunderstand him. We indulged him. We wanted the fantasy to be real. Walter becomes a mirror, not of who we are, but of who we could become under the right pressure. A world where effort goes unrewarded, where resentment builds quietly over years. Walter doesn't explode, he transforms, step by step, choice by choice. And that's what makes him terrifying, because his descent feels logical. We love Walter White because he acts out impulses we suppress. He says no when we stay silent. He takes power when we accept powerlessness. He becomes the villain so we don't have to face the part of ourselves that understands him. And when he finally falls, it doesn't just feel tragic, it feels inevitable. Because fantasies built on domination always collapse. Walter White isn't a hero. He isn't even a tragic victim. He is a warning, a reminder that evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it grows quietly, justified by pride, fueled by resentment, and protected by excuses that sound reasonable until it's too late. And that's the real reason we love Walter White, because his story lets us explore darkness without consequences, to feel powerful without responsibility, to ask forbidden questions from a safe distance. But when the story ends, one question refuses to disappear. Under the same circumstances, the same pressure, the same opportunities, how certain are we that we wouldn't make the same choices?